I'm Grant Lawrence from CBC Music. We all know that the last 3 years have been challenging for our mental health, especially for students. So we're asking kids and teachers, what music moves your mood? Taylor Swift, Mother Mother, Lizzo, The Beatles? Create your own 15-song YouTube playlist answering that very question for a chance to win a virtual concert with Top. Enter the CBC Music Playlist Challenge now at cbc.ca/music class.
Back in
The
North Bay.
CBC News is next, followed by Ideas with Nala Ayed.
A cotton sack from the time of slavery bears the first names of a mother and her daughter who was sold at the age of 9. Historian Taya Miles reveals their stunning story of love, coming up on Ideas.
CBC News, the world this hour. I'm Khalil Hassan Ali. Turkey has been hit by a 6.4 magnitude earthquake today. The tremor was centered around Hatay province, the same area devastated by a massive earthquake and aftershock just 2 weeks ago.
Dutch Sense predicted that one.
From our breaking news desk.
Watch that guy. He's pretty right on, man.
Town of Daphne, trying to stay out of the path
Dutch
of fallen debris,
sense.
processing this latest earthquake. The 6.4 magnitude quake hit Monday, followed by another 5.8 magnitude quake. Syria State News Agency is reporting several people have been injured by rubble. In Turkey, Hatay's mayor says they've received reports of people being trapped under collapsed buildings, and the country's vice president says at least 8 people in Turkey were injured. Witnesses describe it as a strong quake causing more damage to already weakened buildings, one saying it felt like the ground would tear apart. Some reports say the quake could be felt in Jordan, Israel, and Egypt. It comes 2 weeks after earthquakes rocked Turkey and Syria, killing more than 46,000. Earlier today, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken told Turkey the U.S. would help for as long as it takes. Gabriela Pansabel-Trendy, CBC News, Toronto.
Heavy rainfall in the state of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Streets are underwater in parts of the country's southeast coastal area. At least 36 people have been killed by floods and landslides. 100 more are displaced. Rescuers are still searching for at least 40 people who are missing. In some areas, 600 millimeters of rain has come down since Friday, and more extreme weather is in the forecast. In Ukraine's southeast, people are living with the constant realities of the war. Russia's attacks on frontline communities have driven out many, but not all. The CBC's Margaret Evans reports from Ukraine.
As the one-year anniversary of the Russian invasion approaches, there is growing debate here about the burden civilians staying on in towns near the front put on emergency services and the army. A military checkpoint in the town of Orikhiv, further south along another front line. Russian troops stationed just a few kilometers away have been shelling it for nearly a year. It's like a ghost town. There's no electricity and no water unless the emergency services can get in. Back in Chasiv Yar, an elderly woman arrives at the distribution point to say her house has been smashed, hit by shelling. I'm on the street, she says, asking for local volunteers. The crowd tells her city officials have all moved away. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Chasiv Yar.
Quebec's premier says it's time for the federal government to send all asylum seekers to other jurisdictions. In a letter addressed to the Prime Minister, François Legault says the tens of thousands of migrants who cross illegally from the U.S. at Roxham Road is too much for Quebec to handle. Jean-François Roberge is Quebec's minister responsible for Canadian relations.
If we don't have enough houses, enough places in our school, we can't help them. We can't take care of them like we want to. So that's why we're asking the federal government to make some deal with other provinces.
The federal government is already transporting some of the migrants to Ontario. Several provinces in Atlantic Canada also say they're open to the idea as long as the federal government helps pay. Drumming kicks off a celebration near BC's Central Coast. The Newhawk Nation is welcoming back more than 170-year-old totem pole that was taken from the area more than a century ago. It will be displayed at a local school in the community of Bella Chula for the next year before its return to traditional territory. And that is the world this hour. For CBC News, I'm Khalil Hassan Ali.
Your weather tonight, clear to partly cloudy for most of the province. There's also a chance for showers or flurries for southwestern Ontario and London with the risk of freezing drizzle. Lows for southwestern Ontario around -1 and for southern and eastern Ontario -13 to -3. Snow for most of northern Ontario tonight, but not for the far north and parts of the northwest. Snow won't last the night. Lows for northern Ontario from -27 to -17. There's an extreme cold warning for the far north. Wind chill values of -40 to -53.
Welcome to Ideas. I'm Nala.
So yeah, this program I watched, Dutch Cincy, put a warning out for Turkey and Syria that there's a lot of seismic unrest in that area still, and everything's going up a magnitude because there was 4s and 5s last week after the big earthquake, and supposed to have uptick in magnitudes for North America as well, going along the Craton. So, and we have I think a fault here, close to here, at the Eau Claire Gorge, because we went out to that one time and checked it out, and there's a whole tour guide that we went on that talked about how the Eau Claire Gorge was formed by tectonic plates and shifting of the Earth's crust. So yeah, it's that's the times that we're in. We have seismic activity, whether it's from the planets or other stuff. It's probably a little bit of everything. So yeah, like those 2 stars that I pointed out earlier that I was looking at, those are 2 planets, and you can see them right now because they're closer to us than what they usually are, and I think they're some of the bigger ones, you know. So yeah, well, have a good night, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the scenery, and in my earlier videos when it was daylight. Yeah, oh, okay. It's getting a little narrow here.